Yo, what's going on, guys? It's Houston Sports Talk back into the video today, and today we're going to be talking about the Houston Rockets potentially trading for small forward / power forward Saddiq Bey from the Atlanta Hawks. Recently, on December 15th, there was an article on Bleacher Report that was an ultimate NBA trade season cheat sheet for every team. And, of course, the Atlanta Hawks and the Houston Rockets were on that list, and they were two teams that, the list, it had, out of the teams, who's the most likely player on every team that could get traded. Three trade targets for each team as well. And I think the Rockets definitely should try to think about trading for Saddiq Bey, who's having a great season currently with the Atlanta Hawks. Now, let's go over what this trade would look like and why I think definitely could happen. It has been reported that the Atlanta Hawks could be interested in Jae'Sean Tate, who is having a good season so far with the Rockets right now, averaging 6 points per game, 3 rebounds per game, and has been one of the best defensive players on the Houston Rockets this season. And what he does mainly is, on the court is defensively. So I've thought about a trade that for the Rockets that would land the Hawks Jae'Sean Tate. They're interested in him. On this cheat sheet, the three targets that suggested the Hawks should target, one of the players was Jae'Sean Tate. And also on the Hawks thing, it also said the player most likely to be traded is Saddiq Bey. So here's the trade I built together for the Rockets to acquire Saddiq Bey. The Rockets would send over Victor Oladipo and Jae'Sean Tate to the Atlanta Hawks, and in return, the Houston Rockets would receive Saddiq Bey, Garrison Matthews. That name should sound familiar for Rockets fans. Garrison Matthews has been a couple seasons here, would return to Houston as a salary filler. Probably would not play in the rotation like he did when he was here once before. A 2024 second-round pick via Miami, and a 2025 second-round pick via Minnesota. Which actually, I think the Hawks received that pick in the trade that it was the Clint Capella trade that they got Clint Capella from us, and we got Robert Covington. Honestly, I could see this trade happening. I'll go over why. I think the Hawks definitely could use Jae'Sean Tate, a guy who's a great defender, and they want to improve their defense. Victor Oladipo, a guy who'd be a good guard to have off the bench. Saddiq Bey definitely is a great player. He's been playing great basketball for them, averaging 14 points per game and 6 rebounds per game. But he's an expiring contract. So, yeah, you're giving up a couple seconds. Garrison Matthews, who has 2 years left on his deal, but would just be a salary filler. And Saddiq Bey, who's a great player, but is an expiring contract. But you're also getting back another expiring contract in Victor Oladipo. And then Jae'Sean Tate, who still has 2 years left on his deal, would be another year left on his deal after this season is up. So, yeah, and also the Hawks and the Rockets have done a lot of business in the past. And obviously, you got that big 3-team or 4-team trade. I think it was 4 or 5-team trade that broke NBA history and trade with Clint Capella going to Atlanta, Robert Covington coming to Houston. The Rockets and Hawks were a part of that trade last year. The Rockets made a trade deadline deal. Garrison Matthews and Bruno Fernando were sent to Atlanta. The Houston Rockets received Frank Kaminsky and I think Justin Holiday. That was the trade with the Rockets and the Hawks last trade deadline. The Rockets have made a couple other trades with the Hawks in the past. We traded Patty Mills to the Atlanta Hawks. So the Rockets and the Hawks have done a lot of business. So that's why I think maybe there's some room for a deal to get done between the two sides. Especially the Rockets are offering Oladipo and Tate to get back Saddiq Bey in a couple seconds. That's the more important part of this trade. The Rockets are getting 2 seconds in Saddiq Bey for Victor Oladipo and Jae'Sean Tate, two guys who would definitely help the Hawks, right away coming off the bench. But going over Saddiq Bey's stats, he's averaging 14 points per game, 6 rebounds per game, shooting great from 3 as well. And I think he'd be a great addition off the bench. He's a solid defender as well. I think you add him next to Tari Eason off the bench. That is a good small forward, power forward duo right there coming off the bench. Saddiq Bey and Tari Eason. I'd really like to watch those two guys play basketball together. But, if I'm the Rockets and you could send Jae'Sean Tate and You can send Jayshawn Tate and Victor Oladipo and get back Saddiq Bey and a couple seconds, and then a salary filler like Garrison Matthews, who in the past, which watching him here, if you need him to, if some injuries start to happen and it gets bad, and you need him to come in the rotation. He can do good, and he's going to be a good 3-point shooter for your team. He's gonna, he's a great defender as well. And if you're a Rockets fan and you've been through the bad times watching this team lose, then you know how pivotal Garrison Matthews was when the Rockets were losing. I know it doesn't matter if the Rockets aren't winning. And actually, when he came to the Rockets, the Rockets actually got on a big winning streak. It was like a 7-game winning streak, 8-game winning streak. So when he was getting good minutes here, the Rockets were actually winning quite a bit in that 2020-21 season. But I think all Rockets fans know that Garrison Matthews didn't have a great season last year, 2021-22 season, but he was a great impact in that 2020-21 season. But I would like the main part is about Saddiq Bey. It's not about Garrison Matthews. Obviously, I miss watching Garrison Matthews in Houston, but it doesn't matter now that we're winning. But I think Saddiq Bey would bring a big impact to this team and would help this team win even more. And I think as much as I think Jayshawn Tate is a great defender, Saddiq Bey is also a good defender, and he's a better offensive player. Obviously, Jayshawn Tate, you probably argue he is the better defensive player than Saddiq. But Saddiq is a way better offensive player. He's a way better 3-point shooter. I think it'd be better to have him in the rotation than Jayshawn Tate. As good as Jayshawn Tate is, as aggressive as he is, as good as a defender he is, I think Saddiq Bey would help this team win more. And they've been so surprising so far. They're 13-9. They've won 5 straight games. So yeah, this is a video. Hope you guys enjoy their thoughts in the comment section, and peace out. Go Rockets.